We just received some updated news when it comes to the WNBA. So it's now time to start the speculation to see if basketball will return to Seattle. And then Erik Spoelstra is being crowned as the undisputed king when it comes to NBA coaches. And we got to talk about some of these new city edition jerseys. I don't know how I'm feeling, but y'all know how we feeling. We about to jump right into it, but y'all know you got to hear the music first.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball. I'm here right today with my guy Stevo down at the bottom and Big Kev right next to me. So if y'all tuned in, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, fellas, we just got news not too long ago that the WNBA has added a new team to their league. So big shout out to them. And now we're starting to stir up the speculation when it comes to who will receive a new team for the big guys, the NBA. And right now it's being reported by ESPN that there is no public timeline right now currently set when it comes to expansion, but it could be looking like around 2027, 28. Seattle has been mentioned as well as Las Vegas. Whoever want to take it forward, how y'all thinking, man? How y'all feeling pretty good about this? And who y'all think gonna get it? Both cities or maybe one before the other?
They can't do just one because they got to keep it even.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's going to be two cities, and those are the most logical choices. I've heard in the past, like New Mexico, so on and so forth. But nobody want to be rooting for the New Mexico Cactus. Like that's just not.
You're ignorant.
That's just not what we're trying to do. But Seattle deserves it. I think that they should never have lost their team to begin with. They're a city rich with basketball history. We saw the 90s, even the early 2000s, even early KD got some run in Seattle. Seattle is a big basketball city as well with Jamal Crawford and a few others that's in the league right now. I believe my man that's he just got traded from Atlanta. DeJounte Murray's from there as well, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. So it's a big basketball city. They deserve it. And Vegas is Vegas, man. It's becoming a sports town with baseball teams headed there. Oakland's going to be there. You have football there now with the Raiders. You have the Las Vegas Aces, who are basically the toast of the WNBA. And it would be great to have an NBA team in Vegas. It's already cool to go there for summer league, but to have basketball there, men's basketball, besides UNLV, of course, year round would be great for the league. So I'm excited to see. It would be better to see it sooner than later, but better late than never.
For sure, Steve-O.
I'm just wondering how they gonna make it make sense because that's if you do that, if you do that in the NBA, if you do that back to back, there's two West Coast teams. And we already know it's a West Coast teams that's I'm not in the West Coast already in the West Coast conference. So that's intriguing me. But besides that, like, I mean, yeah, like the W making moves today. There's time for y'all to make some moves. Like Seattle Storm been holding it down ever since the Sonic left,
Yeah.
and they still thirsty for that NBA team. So you might as well go ahead and get. They heard the noise down in Portland. Guess what? They announced today there's a W team coming in Portland. So they listening. But my thing is, I mean, I understand the Seattle's and the Vegas, but I thought they will probably consider other markets because there's some teams that I mean there's some cities that you can that pique my interest as a business wise that I think is an underrated business move. Like, what if they pique their interest in Kansas City because we already seen the rapid fan base they got with KC, so with the Chiefs, so that's a place you can go that can make more sense with a team going over there to the Eastern Conference right because that's more on the Eastern side anyway. There's also some other teams in the East that they can consider. I mean, they always try to put another team in Texas or Florida, so that's always something. But I wouldn't say so. But yeah, like yeah, I'm not against it. Vegas, they Vegas is probably to me I think that's probably the next one to be announced because they've been talking about Vegas for years. The summer is basketball is Vegas for the most part. So yeah, it makes most sense. You got a historic team in the W making a dynasty there, so why not add your own?
I want to feel you on that too, and I think that right now it's good to talk that to talk, especially expansion when it comes to basketball, especially because now not only is it going to give us more games to watch, but it's going to also open up things economically for more players to come into the league, more staff members, coaches, etc., etc. And we know that Seattle, they absolutely deserve it. To Big Kev's point, they've been long overdue without this. And then Las Vegas right now, Stevo, I ain't gonna lie to you. They got LeBron James trying to throw his bid in that. That's something I think that they really, really gonna push for. But Stevo, you mentioned something because if they do go with Seattle and Las Vegas, you are absolutely correct. They are on the West, so those should still be Western Conference teams. Do you feel like it'll be good for the NBA to then move Memphis and New
I
Orleans
would just
to the East
move him back. Yep. Yes.
Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah. Or Minnesota.
or Minnesota?
To me, out of the two, New Orleans make the most sense because it's east as hell.
Yeah.
So like that, yeah, I would do that. But who knows what they're thinking? They might go on. It can. I'm just worried that in a couple years it's gonna look like college football where everybody then move now. Pac-12 is half Big Ten, and then I just don't
Yeah.
want it to look like that.
That it wouldn't. That's more of a money grab. You know how college is. This would be more
Yeah, that's
just
a TV
Bro, it's real
conference.
quick to
Yeah,
just throw something out there. Tennessee is adding a 10% talent fee onto their tickets now to cover NIL. It's crazy as hell. It's crazy. Totally off topic, but that's crazy as
nah.
hell.
You
And
know how these rich people are, bro. They
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 gonna
want
get
to
their money.
they want to keep it. Like it's like, oh, we got to give them more money. Okay, we're gonna figure out a way to make us not have to foot the bill. So it's
Exactly.
crazy.
sound like
It's
some
crazy.
Tennessee shit.
For sure. But I do want to add on to the conversation that also, according to ESPN, sources said that if a team was to return to Seattle, the Thunder will concede the Seattle history back to the Supersonics, just as the NBA's Charlotte Hornets reclaimed the Charlotte era history of the New Orleans Pelicans when Charlotte switched
As they
from
should.
being the Bobcats to the Hornets. Y'all want to, what are y'all thoughts on that?
I think that's dope.
I'm, yeah, I think as they should because they really haven't really. I mean, they ain't completely neglected Seattle, but they ain't did anything to honor things. Like they ain't did no special throwbacks to put a little hand on it or something. No, they completely rebranded. Ever since they've been a Thunder, it's been white, navy blue, and orange. That's what they've been rocking. So there's nothing about that thing that screams Seattle. So yeah, it should go
Yeah,
back to them.
ain't no
I'm with
Sean
y'all.
Kemp statues outside of
Yeah,
Oklahoma
ain't
City
nothing.
Stadium.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I think that's important, man. That's a basketball city, man. They did a lot for the NBA for a long time, and it was kind of petty how they lost their team to begin with. So they need
Yeah, I
all
don't
that
think
history
Sam
back.
wanted to
Yeah.
be. I don't think Sam wanted to be double petty in this situation.
For sure. So I say that the move is absolutely is what's necessary. And if the team does return to Seattle, hey, now you get to have a stadium that's gonna be fresh to open up. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have your banners up there. You can go ahead and retire the jerseys of the greats who played for the Seattle Supersonics, and then embrace the history that you have. Like Big Kev said, these guys that played for that organization, they did some things. Even had, you know what I'm saying, some finals appearances and whatnot. And we got to honor that history for sure. Anything left on this topic, fellas?
Nah,
For sure. So y'all let us know down below how y'all feeling about basketball possibly returning to Seattle. Now we jump into another aspect of the episode and talk about Erik Spoelstra being named the top coach in one of CBS latest polls. They pretty much crowned him the undisputed king. Steve-O, starting with you first. How you feeling about Erik Spoelstra being named the top coach, bro?
I agree. Like out of everybody, when I think of game plan, strategy, in game adjustments, 10-year championships winning, as of now, he's the best coach in the league right now, bar none. He's the most consistent coach. Um, he's the best when it comes to producing talent and developing talent. He's been the best. So as I have nothing to say about it. That's 100% correct. He's the best coach in the league.
For sure. Big Kev, any rebuttals?
I mean, there's not too much else you can say. Like it's just the reality of it. You can only win one championship a year, so like that doesn't really determine who's the best coach. Some teams just have better talent on those teams. Thibodeau could have an argument for being up there in one of the top tier coaches. You could put Mike Malone in the conversation. We already know legacy wise, Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich are in the conversation. But in terms of getting the best from your team every single
Don't
year,
forget Minnesota coach.
yeah. But in terms of getting the best from like no name players, like we didn't know who Gabe, what was his name,
Gabe Vincent.
Gabe Vincent, and
He
all of
ain't
these,
been good since he left.
right? You know what I'm saying?
Been
So
hurt though.
Max Strus.
Max Strus that was bouncing around the G League and summer leagues and stuff like that. Like people go to Miami, and Miami has a culture. And we hear it now as part of NBA vernacular. Heat culture is understood to be a real thing, and it's just the reality of it. Now, is he the greatest coach of all time? That's not what this is saying. It's just saying that right now in today's NBA, which coach is the best, and it's him. And now it could have been my man that's in Houston right now that had the whole situation with
Ime
Ime.
with entanglements and such. But he got in them entanglements, and it messed him up. He was on the trajectory for it. At the end of the day, Erik Spoelstra is by and far, and his story is just too great. To go from video editing to moving up and getting under the wing of one of the greatest coaches of all time, and Pat Riley, and working his way up, coaching that Heatles team, dealing with the egos on that squad, and then still maintaining, and then the Heatles.
The
Remember the
Heatles.
Heatles? You remember the Heatles?
The Heatles.
You remember them? But so I love it, man. Like I'm glad that he's getting the recognition that he deserves. And over here on NBA Central, we've been recognizing him as the best coach in the NBA because of those things. So
Yeah, he's definitely been one of the top ones for me because I keep it a buck with you. It ain't too many coaches in the history of the league that can take some of those Miami teams these last few years to the finals. He ain't win it, but it ain't too many coaches that's gonna be able to get everything and squeeze everything out of the life of his team to get to a finals. Didn't win it, but you still got to show a lot of credit to it because there were a lot of teams ahead of the Miami Heat, and they made it as an eighth seed. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Playing through play-in games and then battling all through the playoffs shows exactly what Erik Spoelstra is really, really capable of as a coach. So we show much love to him. Now, fellas,
I want to ask y'all something real
go
quick
ahead.
though before you go. Can y'all give me your top 5 coaches right now, real quick?
Give me Spo, Tyloo, Spo, Tyloo, Ime, Kerr, and I don't know who I'm gonna put at the 5 for.
yeah, I'm right there with you. I got Spoelstra, Ty Lue. I got I don't know, man. I guess I can put Steve Kerr in the conversation, just based on history, but you can't. I don't know, man. It's a lot of overrated coaches in the league. That's where I thought you was about to go. Who's the most overrated? But Spoelstra and Ty Lue are near the top of my list. I could put Jason Kidd, Mike Malone in there as well, and then I'll end up with Steve Kerr. No, Thibodeau. I put Thibodeau over Jason Kidd.
I'm about to say,
that'd be my top 5 right there.
I got
To the opposite time left.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got Spo, Tyloo, Mike Malone, Tibbs, Ime.
My most overrated is definitely Doc Rivers, though. He's at the top.
I would say at this point in his career, he is an overrated coach, and I don't think it's much of an argument to be had when it comes to that. I just think that his voice, when you talk about Doc Rivers and his effectiveness in the locker room, it's just not felt the same anymore. That's why I don't believe his principles, his basketball principles, translate well on the basketball court for the last few teams that we've seen. I just think that he should have stayed his ass right doing color and play by play.
What about underrated?
Underrated? Big Kev.
You
You
gonna
said
say
it's
Chris
who?
Finch? It's either Chris Finch or even Mike Brown in Sacramento. He had them guys consistently playing
I can
well.
agree with those two. I like those two.
And
And
Jim
Rick
Carrey.
Carlisle.
There you go, Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
Rick Carlisle.
Yep. Now, speaking of that, so great segue into it. For the tier 2 coaches, what they categorize as elite coaches is Ty Lue, Steve Kerr, Rick Carlisle, and Nick Nurse. The question that I have though is Nick Nurse an elite coach in your mind?
Nope.
I would say so.
Nah.
Compared to everybody, to me, I like Mike Brown, but I like Nick Nurse in game adjustments way more than Mike Brown. And his game plans. I like him a little bit more.
I
And then you just
believe
talk about okay, Monty Williams, he better than Monty. You
yes.
talking about Mike Budenholzer, he better than Mike Budenholzer. We
Yes.
talking about Doc, he better than Doc. He
Yes.
better than Frank Vogel.
Yes.
He better than Mike D'Antoni. He better than Billy.
Mike
Mhm.
D'Antoni, coach.
You can argue. I'm just naming out coaches that been recently. You can argue Joe Mazzulla. I just feel like it's what 3 years, 2 years. It's a little
Yeah.
early.
It's probably
Uh,
still a little too early because we still had questions about, some of his offensive principles and his game plan when it comes to how you attack the other team. But you can go ahead.
yeah, and I think over the last few, I mean, I say he kind of got the edge over Quinn Snyder, and he got the edge over Jason. He got a ring.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I ain't mad at it. But fellas, before we get up out of here, we gotta go ahead and look at these NBA leaks. This ain't one of them Shannon Sharp leaks, so brace yourself, y'all. Y'all good to look at the screen. We Gucci.
That's Mama Jill. That's my Jill.
Hey, but hey, fellas, here is the photo of the NBA city editions for this year. This is the leak photo. Here it is. A lot of interesting things going on with a lot of teams on this thing. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But whoever want to attack how they feel about these jerseys, go
So it's
ahead. I'm gonna just say the Bulls. What are we doing?
so I like the fact that they went throwback with the Raptors in Utah to those 90s throwback jerseys. The Magic too. They went with that. Indy's the same. Look like Indy the same from last season.
I'm gonna just say this: King's ugly.
Yeah, they bogus for that.
San,
They look like
San,
they look like the Sacramento 76ers. I ain't gonna
yeah,
lie.
San Antonio. I don't understand it. Why you toy saying yellow? I don't get that.
Which one is the I see the Kings? Yeah, that's just yeah.
Top
And
right.
look at Sacramento. Look at San Antonio right under there. I don't understand that.
Me either.
And what's this? What's the one under the Clips?
That's what's that 5280
This
joint?
the you said under the Clippers.
Yeah, 528. That gotta be different.
That's Minnesota. Right under the Clips is Minnesota, and that's so
Oh, that's
basic
not-
to me, bro.
I want to see the shorts. I need to see the shorts.
The shit. I wish I had the shorts, the jerseys that I got from the
Yeah,
early
I like
release.
in the Raptors. I like it that they use it a dinosaur, but it just look like you plastered a big ass dinosaur
It's
in the
doing the
middle
Vince
of it.
Carter done too, though. It's
Oh,
doing
me.
the
Yeah.
fadeaways joint. That's
I
right.
respect them honoring one of their legends for sure. Pay homage. It was kind of like that a few years ago in Chicago. They did the flag. I thought that was real cool.
Yeah.
Y'all know
Why
why?
we look like we celebrating 50 years of marriage. Like what the fuck is this white and gold?
Bro.
Fuck is we
It's a goddamn 50
it's the
years.
anniversary. It's the anniversary
real.
or something.
You know they do
That's
gold
why you
thing.
looking at me like that, Kev? You know the anniversary colors.
Bro,
I'm just
white and
laughing.
gold, yes.
That's hilarious, bro.
For sure. For
Look like
sure.
a champagne bottle.
But hey,
Vince Vaughn.
hey, ain't no way. But that is it from us, man. Hey, y'all got anything left on today's episode?
Yeah, man. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. 1,000. That's wild behavior. That's a slippery slope right there.
We gonna leave it right there. Thank y'all for tuning in into another episode of NBA Central. Make sure if you got any feedback, comments, or concerns, you let us know down below in the comment box, or you hit us up on our NBA Central Show at gmail.com. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hey, we're gonna catch y'all on the next one. We out of here.
Take that.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.